W is for wink. Really, Phillies and Colts? I said what was smirked before flipping over my cards. I had pocket eights with two eights in the community cards. 3 points went all in. I was the only one walking away from this table with caps. All of them, to be precise. Rolling my shoulders and cracking my neck, I tipped my black cow pony hat to the pink unicorn carrying a array of drinks. Round of wild Pegasus, how? Highway, honey, she said with a wink before drawing back to the bartender behind the saloon counter. Watched her go for a brief moment, noticing the way she swatches her blonde and pink striped tail under the skirt of her black and purple burlesque dress. I'm not usually the type of pony that goes after every mare that gives me a wink, especially when I look at cards attracting every two-cap horde in Las Pegasus area to my bed. But something about this mare really caught my eye. What's your deal, Nick? One of my opponents, a mare named Lola, asked. With her good eyes, she looked down at her pet night stalker, Cabbage, before turning her gaze to me. Lost to the links. Trying to rub it in? Yep, not at all, my cyclopean friend. I'm just trying to bury the hatchet so it's all just fun and games. One for you, baby. Well, we're the ones who are out there as cats. Whined up Bert, a rather gaseous former sheriff turned gambler, remarked before turning up to his namesake with a thunderous roar of stomach gas. Oh, come on, Bert. You know you were having fun when you dropped those two pair on me, I said. Until you flipped over your high pair, he grumbled, pushing himself away from the card table. Congratulations on yet again, Nick. You really live up to your name. You're the Earth Pony and the Las Pegasus Waste. I hope you choke on your wild Pegasus. With that, the ghastly little ray of sunlight stormed out through the swinging saloon door, sparing us any more salt to our already burned olfactory sense. As a he to grab a kiss, the servant mayor said with a smile as she returned to the table with 4 glasses of hard pre-war whiskey, but only had 3 pints to serve them to. Limiting 3 glasses to the dealer, Lola and myself, she looked at the remaining serving of liquor. What do I do with the 4th glass? She then gave me a coy little cock of her eyebrow that told me all I needed to know about this little spitfire. So as for drinks, then, it's his loss, you're going. I said, patting the seat next to me with a huff. She nodded her head cordially before taking the seat next to him. There we go. Now what? I didn't get your name. That's because I had to leave my senses and didn't toss it your way, she said wildly before adding, Sarsaparilla smiles. Like, I replied before raising my glass to others. Here's to a great tournament. Here, Lola said, before lowering down her drink at one gulp, letting out a pained and satisfied breath. But it's so good, just like losing. Alas, spirit, I laughed. Watching Sarsaparilla sip her drink with the dealer, silently glazed upon us like always, not even making a sound as he gulped down his whiskey. The dealer at the Lost Wages Saloon was one of the most mysterious and quiet ponies I ever met. No pony knew his name. It was just the dealer. And seemed to be satisfied with that. There was a legend that occasionally graced the lips of the ponies of Navarro. They say the dealer was an ancient buffalo spirit of chaos, much like the Draconicus Discord. Ponies say he never aged, and he was haunted in ways for centuries, even before the fall of Equestria. The dealer remained the cards of fate to any ponies that crossed his paths. He is a force of nature. Or, as I found out after one of my lucky streaks, he was a unicorn who excelled at illusion magic, and just made himself look like an earth pony to make others underestimate him. On that front, we were in agreement. Everyone knew to expect cheer magic from unicorns or sleight of claw from griffins, but no one expected anything special from earth ponies. That's why ponies never really expected me to be able to cheat as well as my lucky streaks would dictate. Being an earth pony allowed me the ability to avoid cursory suspicions of the pit bosses. No pony could catch me cheating, so they resigned themselves to the fact that I just had crazy round luck when it came to cards. So how do you do it, Nick? I've been told this is your 3rd tournament win this month. And you're 12th. Just moved to our little stretch of hell in Equestria, Sarsaparilla asked, placing a tinsel hoe from my charcoal duster sleeve. I see my rep is preceding, but I don't remember you ever being in this type before, I said, all ground. They say you're lucky in love, then you're lucky at cards or something like that. Maybe I should leave you to be, so Nakia can lose some of that luck. She said, giving me a tired smile before pushing away from the table. Good luck. Let's have, I quipped back, getting more of a grin out of her and a hiss from her pet. Come on, Cabbage, we're going. Cabbage hissed happily and followed her out. Saloon doors swishing softly behind us, they left. And there was Lou, Sarsaparilla smiled, smiling at me over the glass of whiskey as she levitated in front of her face. Really? I asked. I glanced at the dealer before coughing nonchalantly, as the forced expulsion of air from my lungs could be possibly achieved. The dealer seemed to understand, his gray eyes addressing me with a mirth that his face dared not to betray. Before taking his sunglasses in his mouth, tossing him with expert precision onto the crown of his head, suddenly walking away from the table. Damn, he's really committed. Committed to what? Nothing, I said, quickly trying to turn her attention away from the hoof comment and back onto me. So, what made you want to become a barmaid this lovely salesman? Sarcasm will get you everywhere, she replied with copious snark of her own. I think I'm in love. I thought without a hint of sarcasm in my inner monologue. It usually tinted my normal speech. Then she took her head and sighed before downing a glass. You must know, she said while pouring herself into her glass, a series of bad choices in a family that need my help. Family's important. Yeah, she said, trailing off while looking towards the door. I had to think fast. I was losing her. I gave a nod to Ivory, the black stallion behind the piano, and he started to play. How about we talk something else? Oh, hey, well, dance, I asked, jumping to my nose and pulling her to hers without even asking. She laughed. I don't take it that no is an acceptable answer. Yes, it isn't. We don't say the N word around these parts, I told her. She laughed again, scrolled for me. I smiled. Not just because I got her back, but because it actually made me happy to see her happy. What was it about this mare that made me act like this? We danced and drank and talked the night away. Well, to be fair, she drank and talked and danced. I just did the latter two mostly. I had a few drinks, but I was always careful to stay mostly sober, keeping the drinking to a little buzz. It was always my rule of fetlock that the only time a party should get wasted is if there's no possible way somebody else could bartend and waste them. I called it the wasteland wasted rule. A buzz is fine, but I never wanted to get a DWI. That's dying while intoxicated for you uninformed ponies out there. Let's get out here, she whispered to my ear. My room's upstairs, I said, glancing towards the stairs. She shook her head. No, those mattresses are nasty. Let's go back to my place. It's just down the alley and a block away. She stopped before adding, I had clean sheets I brought back with me from New Pegasus. I'm sold, I laughed, grabbing me by the collar of my duster with her telekinesis. Sarsaparilla smiles, dragged me out of the swishing doors and down the alleyway between the saloon and general store. We were only a few steps to the poorly lit passage between the buildings when I noticed the 3 ponies following us. Then I noticed 3 more blocking our exit. My eyes started to the side roar. Lock the door, Nick. A familiar voice bells. Here I go no anywhere. He looks run out. Perp, what are you doing here so late at night? If you want another game, I'll be more than happy to play with you again this morning, I said. A hint of nervousness started to creep into my voice as my eyes caught the silver and chrome bow cells and sixtures on their hips. 2 unicorns and 4 earth ponies. I could probably handle them with an apple grenade or 2. I might cast Sarsaparilla in an explosion. My eyes darted to and fro while my mind thought of some means of escape. And for the pretty mare and myself, until I noticed her head was lowered and her eyes were closed. Burf laughed as he approached, and Sarsaparilla started moving towards him, her host barely leaving the ground. Now's the work, sis. Now let me just kill this fucker and take my money back. We'll be on our way home. You say you just wanted to get your money back. Please don't kill him, she said, her voice weak, no longer the strong mare I know in the saloon. However, the hoof that flew and struck her on the side of the face still sent my blood spoiling. A small growl escaped my lips the moment she hit the ground. Sure, using the horse will get say my plans. Burst spat literally, nose blast hitting her wounded cheek on the added insult. You don't want me to tell me, Mama, how I found your new place. No, she whispered, tears already starting to streak down her face, only to be slowed by the phlegm. This is between the 2 of us, Burp. Nobody else needs to get involved, I said, trying to turn his attention away from Sarsaparilla back to me. "Oh, you a real nice shining armor," Burp said, turning back to me. He sneered, "You actually like my sister, don't you? You fallen for a two-bit hole." He and his posse broke out into deriding laughter before Bert lifted a huff, silencing him after a few seconds of mirth. "Enough of this. Give me my money, Knack." "No? Or else?" I asked wildly. One of Bert's lackeys chortled, but their leader was not amused. "You cheated me, you fucker. I don't know how, but nobody's that lucky." Waiting for his sister, I watched the others follow suit. Like an army of cicadas, he pulled out the revolvers blindly slow speed for me. The world called as my mind prepared for the carnage about to befall me. Memories of my own life flashed before my eyes. Joining the military with my brother, going through boot camp, the fateful day when the brass sent our brigade to assault Dragon's Horde. The horribly sight of my big brother consumed by green flames, he had just barely pushed me out of the way of the oncoming inferno. I fled for my life. It didn't stop until I realized it was a cloudless desert. As night was falling, and the lights of New Pegasus were lighting up the horizon. The world snapped back to reality as Bert's gang started to turn back to me. Sarsaparilla closed her eyes tight, fighting tears and trying to avoid catching even a glimpse of my all but inevitable demise. While Bert and my eyes met, looking straight up, I shot my four hosts as fast as I could, spinning magnum revolvers around my front lock melted brow bracers. Gripping the wire triggers near my collar and my mouth, I fired two bullets stared screamingly at Bert's eyes. Luckily for him, he saw my counterattack coming and hit the dirt faster than I thought pony his bulk could move. I'm looking for the two ponies standing behind him. One's head exploded into a spray of gore and bodily fluids, while the other took a shot in the left shoulder to send him spinning to the ground. "Fine!" Bert screamed. Expecting my more obvious descent, Bert's flunkies unloaded at the air beneath my hose. But I did not fall. Maybe asking, "Knack, now you're lying. What comes up must come down." I had another secret under my duster, besides a pair of 44 magnums. Through the slits in my back of my coat, I unfurled my wings and took to the skies, leaving those below me looking up in stunned awe as I zoomed past them. While most were incapacitated by the shock of me revealing my true race, some of them even dropping their weapons, others fired to the air, but they fired wide as my dark gray duster was lost in the darkness above. I could have run, but there was a little pink mare that wouldn't be safe with her odoriferous and abusive brother. Damn my chivalrous nature. Looking around, I unloaded round after round into the ponies below, expertly avoiding sarsaparilla while weaving between rounds as they fired back. Lying past Bert, I raced out with my four hoses and scooped sarsaparilla up without missing a wing beat. Then, as we soon passed the three ponies near the mouth of the alley, I dropped an apple-shaped grenade with my tail. Moments later, an explosion ripped through the twilight before dawn, before I gently set down the pretty mare in my burlesque dress. You're a Pegasus?" she asked, eyes wide by "Well, secret's out," I said, looking back at the cars behind us as the smoke started to clear. Unless I got them all. Bang! A bullet ripped through my shoulder as Bert went down the smoke, bleeding protectedly out every inch of his body and his armor in tatters. Dropping the empty revolver from his mouth, Bert crossed the street, laughing under his breath between peeing. "Little Page, you're a Pegasus, you fucking rat pony. You've probably kept wings. That's how you did it," he said before pulling out a long hunting knife. "I'm gonna have fun clipping your wings, Knack." "Smile," I moaned, smiling up at her with a pained grin. "I'm sorry about this." "It's not your fault. I'm sorry," she said, her voice hardly a whimper. "My fault we're here. I should have listened to my brother, but I can't let him tell her mom. I can't let her know about Her voice trailed off as she looked back at Bert. "Please, why not? Don't do this." "Oh, my word, whore," he growled, Bert bubbling out of his mouth and around the knife. "No," I said. "Sorry about this." Whipping out a concealed sawdust gun in my holster on my hind left leg, Bert stopped as I leveled the twin barrels at his face and watched as he dropped the knife. Pulling the trigger, I felt twins of regret and horror myself as his face collapsed in on itself, and the force of the blast almost ripped his head off its shoulders. The bloody, meaty thought. Why not Bert belched his last burp? Horrified, yet somehow looking relieved, Sasparilla's smiles dropped down on her haunches, crying. Hissing in pain as I stood up, I looked at her for a moment before my guilt made me look away. "I'm sorry," I whispered before tucking my wings back under my duster, just as I started limping away. A hoof came to rest on my still good shoulder. Meg, she said weakly. It's okay. Your brother. He's a horrible pony and an even worse brother. I feel bad he's dead. I'm gonna have to tell our mom, but at least he can't tell my mom about new Pegasus. She said, her voice still bittersweet with regret and relief. It was obviously still hurting. You all have things to regret. Is that why you hide your wings? Yeah. I just the Enclave a few years back, after he sent my unit to a dragon's lair and lost my brother. The damn purple lizard burned us alive and tore my commander to shreds. I sighed. I'm lucky I got away and still have my cutie mark. I'm sorry. Not your fault. I looked at Bert's course before noticing some ponies already starting to emerge from their homes and shops. They were sure fighting against us and stopped. Looking over at Sarsaparilla, I gave her a sad smile. We're all running for something out here in the wasteland. It was one of the first things I learned here beneath the clouds. I think. I looked back at Sarsaparilla. Yeah? I ran from Last Pegasus. You ran from the sky. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad if I ran around together? Maybe. I said, my smile becoming more genuine. That will be nice. I guess as I tried to walk. Oh, you know what will be nice? Another shot of Wild Pegasus. Yeah, but this sounds my treat. Wild Pegasus for my Wild Pegasus. She giggled before pushing her head under my injured shoulder, helping me back towards the saloon. Thanks. They'll mention it. She laughed. Happiness started to creep back into her voice as she gave me a playful wink. I wanted dead or alive.